Hello and welcome to News Central Television. I am Lekan Onabanjo. The top stories at this hour. NNPCL and marketers cite supply issues as fuel scarcity lingers. Guinea court to deliver verdict on 2009 stadium massacre trial on Wednesday. Human Rights Watch says sexual violence rampant in war-torn Sudan capital. Details to come your way shortly. News now at this hour begins in the west of the continent, where the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and oil marketers have attributed the ongoing fuel scarcity in the country to supply disruptions at key depots, just as black marketers are exploiting the situation, with prices reaching as high as 1,300 naira to 1,500 naira per litre in parts of Lagos and Ogun states. Reports indicate that some oil marketers and transporters have reduced the number of trucks dispatched to load petrol in anticipation of a planned statewide hunger protest. Several PMS dealers have instructed their drivers to park their trucks, especially those transporting fuel from coastal depots in the south to the hinterlands in the north. This reduction in fuel distribution has contributed to long queues at petrol stations in Abuja, Nasarawa, Niger, Lagos and Ogun. The NNPCL noted that the fuel queues were also caused by hitches in the discharge operations of a few vessels. The company assured the public that it is working around the clock with all stakeholders to resolve the situation and restore normalcy in operations. And at this point, to help us understand what is happening in some parts of Nigeria, we have Chizoba Anyonwe, who will be talking to us, of course, from Jos, right there in the capital of course, Plateau State in Nigeria. Chizoba Anyonwe, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for starting by to give us the update. So tell us, what's the pump price saying right now where you are?
Okay, well, I am at the Jos NNPC mega station, and the pump price is 817 naira. 617 naira. But unfortunately, you can see the queue behind me. It is alarming. And so many of these motorists have been here since Saturday. Today is Monday, since Saturday. And so what they do is they stay here on the queue to ensure they are able to buy the fuel. But unfortunately, nothing has been done. They've not bought anything since that Saturday. And they just stay here. When it's night, they leave their cars here, go back home, pass the night, and then come back and continue again. So it's a very sad situation. And it's not like they have an option. The next option is to go to other fuel stations to buy. Unfortunately, too, those ones do not have the commodity. They don't have the product. So many of them are saying that, well, they have managed to have the money available, but to have the product to buy to buy the fuel is the issue they are facing. So everybody has different cries concerning the scarcity of fuel in the country. Other stations where we also visited, most of them do not even have the product on the ground. Those that have are selling between 813, 820, 830, 850. It is sad. In fact, I beg your pardon, the weather is actually cold here.
We're
running on 17 degrees centigrade actually this morning. So pardon me for that. So I have Mr. Adejo here, who will join me now to tell you a bit of what he has felt in the past few days trying to get this commodity. Mr. Adejo, tell us what you think about the situation.
Good morning.
Speak louder.
Good morning. I'm grateful for this opportunity to air out the terrible situation we are facing in our country, Nigeria. Right now, you can see the situation on ground. We are now at Jos Mega Filling Station, very close to Secretariat Junction. Like me personally, I've been here since on Saturday. Today is Monday. I used to leave my vehicle, go back home and come back again, go back home and come back. We are here this morning, not even knowing what is going to happen next. Right now, we have been here since 7 a.m. in the morning. That is the actual time they normally start selling their fuel. But right now, we are still waiting. Like yesterday, we waited. Saturday, we waited. So we are still waiting. We don't know what is really happening. Their own actual price is 617. Like other filling station, when you go there, you see different prices. Even the product right now is not available. That is the situation on ground. People manage to, raise money, but we are not even talking about money now. We are talking about the product being available. So the unavailability of this fuel product is causing a lot of confusion in our country, Nigeria, or instability in our businesses and otherwise. So everyone is looking up to our government to change this situation because it's very, very unbearable. So we don't know where we are heading to as a country and as citizens. It's only God right now. It's unbearable. Hardship is increasing. There is a lot of inflation on price on commodities and otherwise. So it's unbearable. We don't know what is happening next. You can see if you are conversant with just environment, this line has gone beyond National Library, even to the cop to that Christ Embassy. It has no end. People are just waiting. So we don't know what's happening. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Dejo is one of the motorists that have suffered this incident. Yes. Okay, so you have heard it. And if you can see behind me, there's a truck actually trying to gain entrance into the station, the fuel station. But unfortunately, we are meant to understand that it broke down at that same point. And so because of that, motorists can't even gain entrance to go buy the fuel. So these are some of the situations and the challenges we are facing on the plateau.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Isabel, for giving us this update. I will actually get back to you in course. But then let's quickly dash down to Ibalani Omoni, who's also standing by to give us the situation update as regards fuel scarcity in and around where he is. Of course, Niyi, can you actually confirm where you are right now and tell us what the situation is?
Good morning, Lekan. I'm currently on College Road around Ogba, which is quite a long stretch and houses about 6 to 7 filling stations. But I'm currently in front of two opposite fuel stations, which is an independent oil station and the government-owned oil station, NNPC, just at my right-hand side here. Lekan, I can tell you for a fact that people are agitated, people are angry, people are exhausted. From people we've spoken to earlier this morning, most of them have been here from 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. In fact, one man was almost wailing this morning, noting that he has been called several times from his office. He works at a factory and does not know what excuse to give them because this is the same excuse he gave on Friday. Now, while NNPC started selling for a pump price of 568 naira, they started at around 810 thereabouts. Meanwhile, the independent marketers on the other side, opposite side of this place, were selling at around 800, depending on what is available at the time or depending on the way they feel at the time. But I'm here with Stephen. Stephen is one of Lagosian who has been trying to get fuel for his keg. And I just wanted to share his own experience. Stephen, how long have you been here and why have they not sold fuel to you at this time?
I've been here since 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. this morning. So they say they don't used to sell to kegs. They don't sell to kegs anymore. So I'm looking for a means that I can get for maybe to give one of the car drivers so that when he has fuel his own, he can help me to get my own. That's why I'm standing here again. And it's up to now, it's up to 8 o'clock now. I haven't get since 6. I have not even seen one means of having maybe a drop. And the queue here is too long.
You've heard it from Stephen. Stephen is just one of the very many who are affected by this. The motorists are more agitated even than how Stephen is. And most of them are not even willing to talk. Immediately we come to them, they're like, oh no, please, I don't want to have this. I'm rushing to work. I'm already stranded. So it's a whole lot happening here, Lekan. It's a whole lot.
So it's quite interesting that even while this is going on, we still get reports of black marketers being able to access the same fuel and sell it at exorbitant prices to wood buyers. So I'd like to find out from you if you have noticed any of that in and around that area.
Lekan, earlier at around past 7 when we got here, we caught glimpse of some black marketers trying to sell their petrol. They sold 5 liters for 6,000 naira, which is about 1,000 plus for a liter. And this was ongoing for about 30 to 40 minutes. But as of now, when we tried checking, most of them don't even have the product anymore, which is a problem. So I want to believe, or from what we could hear also, from the rumors we heard, that was that they had liaised with some of these oil marketers and these fuel stations to get fuel over the night, and now they're selling for higher prices. For now, no black marketer is seen around or trying to sell, or the ones we saw have moved further down the road to ensure that they don't have any clash with authorities. We have last mile officials here currently trying to control the traffic and make sure that there's no impediment to traffic flow whatsoever. But for black marketers, no, for now, we've not seen any. But we saw them earlier in the morning selling for as high as 1,000 plus for a liter. And I must just chip it in, Lekan. These has further exacerbated the agitations of people over the conditions and the economic situations in the country. I intentionally even asked one of the residents that, how does he feel with this current situation and with the planned protest? And it was like, oh, no, with these things happening, they will have to come out, they will have to do. But we've heard this 1,000 times. The question is, will this agitation translate to people coming out for the protest? Now, these are the questions. But for now, a lot of people are still stranded here. They are still stranded. Let me give you a perfect view of what I'm talking about. NNPC is still selling, no doubt, but it's quite slow. It doesn't really account for the number of people we still have on the queue. They're selling, people are trickling in ones, in twos, and you can see their facial expression, the frustration on their faces for being here for 3 hours, 4 hours, when they could be doing something better with their time. But they are here trying to use their own money, their hard-earned money, to buy what they need for their vehicles.
Okay, so finally, Lee, before I let you go, it's understandable when we have situations like this, but it's even worrisome if they don't even understand, most especially both the sellers and the buyers, why we have gotten to this point. So I don't know, in any of your interactions with any of the divides, do they even understand why there is fuel scarcity in the first place, if you've actually had the opportunity to talk to any one of them?
Lekan, the very first answer I got when I asked a resident that question was, bros, I don't care whatever it is. Whatever it is, they should just fix it. And that was how agitated it was, because most of them don't even know why. It's not the first time we're having fuel shortages or fuel crisis in Lagos, even in Nigeria as a whole. And there has been various reasons: adulterated petrol, lack of petrol, a shortage of petrol, issues in distribution, and so many other reasons. So this time around, most of them don't even know the reason. And they do not really care what the reason is. They just want it fixed, because a lot, as according to what they said, they've gone through enough with the government, and now they just need it fixed. In fact, one resident was even suggesting to the government to buy all these independent marketers, oil stations, so that since they usually have fuel, I'm even surprised the NNPC here actually has fuel, because most times when we pass through these roads, they usually have their gates closed. So it's a little bit surprising that right now they're selling. But most times it's the independent oil marketers that usually have fuel. And he was sharing his own opinion or recommendation that the government should actually buy off those independent marketers and just make the fuel available. They don't care if they're buying for a higher rate. They don't care if per liter is about 1,000 plus. They just want it available, and that's all they want.
Thank you so much, Need Balani, for sharing this with us. We'll continue to keep tabs with you to get more details. But in the meantime, I'm joined by the president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Abubakar Bigandi Garima. Thank you so much, Mr. Garima, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's quite nice to know that you're here to talk about this because this speaks more to you. Now, we've gotten several feelers from different reporters on the field saying that prices have skyrocketed, some filling stations are not selling, and a lot of people don't even know why there's fuel scarcity in the first place. So I'd like to find out from you, why are there disruptions to the load, to even the supply and the loading of PMS at depots in Nigeria?
Well, in fact, through the information that we received through the NNPCL, they have conjunction of the traffic on the higher sea, where the daughter vessel is supposed to go and get the product through the mother vessels. So there is traffic clearance. That is the reason why they cannot be able to supply the product to the various tank farms. But they said very soon, they will be able to see they eradicated this problem that they are having.
But then I'm just wondering, okay, so now that we have disruptions, how does that now translate into the increase in pump price? Was there a meeting to actually increase the price? Was there someone or a body that sanctioned that the price should be increased? Because I don't know where, the correlation is.
Well, the increase of price, normally we independent petroleum marketers who are not getting our product direct, we rely on the depot owners. We have to go through the depot owners and buy this product. And these depot owners, immediately when they see any small changes, they increase price for us.
So did they actually increase the price?
Subject to our marketers. Hello?
So as at the point where you meet the depot owners and you say you want to buy fuel, did they increase the price at the depots?
Yes, the depot owners are increasing price to my marketers. So my marketers, if they buy this product through them, when they come to their filling station, they have to add their margin. So that is just what is happening. And that is the reason why we have been appealing to the NNPCL, since they are the sole importer of this petroleum product, they should be giving us our product direct so that we can be able to reduce the price to the masses and Nigerian populace.
Okay, so fine. Now, when you look at the questions and the reasons, one of what we got was that, okay, there's a planned protest coming up. And I'm just wondering how that also affects the marketers and the transporters that, according to reports, are said to be reducing the number of trucks dispatched to load petrol at the depots. So I'd like you to give us clarification on that too. Probably there's a directive for them to reduce the number of trucks because there's a brewing protest coming up.
Well, for the protesters, all what I know, we independent petroleum marketers were not protesting because we know how the government is doing their best to see that they solve Nigerian problem. So we are not part of the protesters, but rather what we are appealing to the NNPC, let them supply our product direct so that we can be able to sell it to the marketers at a lower rate, and these marketers can be able to discharge it and sell it to the motorists at a lower price.
So if you are saying that the NNPCL should supply the fuel price to you directly, so that would mean eliminating the truck or the depot owners, which happens to be the middlemen when it comes to the supply chain. Is that what you mean in terms of the implication?
Yes, exactly. That is what they mean. What I mean, instead of giving the depot owners the product to sell to us, let the NNPC give us our product direct so that we can be able to give our marketers to discharge in their filling station. And remember that we independent petroleum marketers, we are having the highest numbers of retail outlets in the country. We cover almost 85% of retail outlets. So that is the reason why you have been seeing this hardship is going on.
All right, before I let you go, I'd like to find out, does this cut across, the regions in Nigeria in terms of these fuel hikes and the shortages that we are seeing? Because it seems as though it's more prominent in Lagos, Ogun, and the Federal Capital Territory.
Pardon?
So I said I want to find out in terms of the shortages in the supply of petrol to the filling stations, of course, the independent marketers own filling stations, and the fact that there's a hike in price of this commodity. Does it cut across the length and breadth of Nigeria across the regions? Because what we've noticed that it's more pronounced in Lagos, Ogun, and the Federal Capital Territory.
Well, in fact, through the information that we have been receiving through the NNPCL, they are informing us the product will soon come to the private depot and discharge. So actually we are waiting so that immediately when they discharge, already our money is there with them. We can be able to go and see how we can start loading this product.
All right, Abubakar Migandi Garima, thank you so much for sharing these updates with us. Let's now tell you that the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and publicity, Ajuri Galali, said that nobody can stop the citizens from protesting. The spokesperson was addressing concerns about the Tinubu government's stance on peaceful protests planned for August 1 to 10. He insisted that the current administration does not want to dominate Nigerians, and he also added that no organ of the administration has the authority to prevent Nigerians from protesting. He, however, acknowledged fears surrounding a potential hijack of the protests similar to the NSAS movement of 2020. In the meantime, the Nigeria Police Force on Sunday defended its request for the names and other details of intending participants of the forthcoming August nationwide End Bad Governance protest. Force spokesman Muyiwa Adejobi said having such details is standard procedure to ensure the safety of all participants and prevent any unlawful activities. The police had last week made the demand to protect peaceful protesters, but many Nigerians, including activist Deji Adeyanju, rejected such a condition. In a statement on Sunday, Adejobi said it is vital to clarify that the Inspector General of Police has never denied the constitutional right of every citizen to freedom of association and expression, but has rather, at every point, emphasized that the right is to peaceful assembly and expression. You're watching News Central now. We'll go on a very short break. We'll have more stories for you. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us. We tell you that Borno State security forces there have significantly ramped up their presence along the Maiduguri-Auno-Jakana road in the wake of a devastating attack by suspected Boko Haram terrorists on the Jakana police station in Konduga local government area on Sunday. The assault, which resulted in the tragic deaths of 2 individuals, has prompted a thorough investigation and examination, including the reinforcement of security protocols in the region. News Central's Mark Rawa brings us updates from Jakana.
A 45-kilometer drive from Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, to Jakana in Konduga local government area. Around 2 p.m. on Sunday, armed militants suspected to be Boko Haram raided the Jakana police station. The assault claimed the lives of a police officer and a civilian.
The terrorists destroyed these 2 patrol vehicles, setting them ablaze. They also made off with motorcycle, among other equipment, in the police station in Jakana. This incident underscores the ongoing security challenges in Borno State, which calls for more effort in terms of tackling the insurgents and, of course, taking proactive measures to forestall attacks by insurgents.
The Jakana community go about their normal day-to-day activities, as some of the people are even unaware of the attack.
And if I was sort of when I call Bundu, I'm a hard about tiding day about. I'm a back mother, alhamdulillah. Lemmer Malam Shave, I full attire the game, I'm our current come in about. To the Levade to Nado, Nyama Dona Kumbuede. Well, I let Zoma Zokane, Aviana, Zokane, Sheburtans, Basmaradin.
Alhamdulillah kamaro ba kazi bisa barabral za sanna adinga ai ma kamaro ne lefa nya zitina ba amma biya na she adama ne lefa bande biya adama biya.
Police have since commenced the investigation as measures are said to have been taken to prevent further attacks. Intensified routine vehicle and passenger inspections are now ongoing to ensure the safety of commuters and residents in the affected areas. In Jakana for News Central, Umoru Kirawa.
Meanwhile, the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, has confirmed the delivery of the federal government's 20 trucks of 25-kilogram bags of rice and 90 trucks of fertilizers for onward distribution to the vulnerable citizens of the states and farmers. Governor Zulum made the confirmation on Sunday in Munguno, local government area of the state, where he distributed 10,000 naira cash each and wrappers to 45,000 women and 25-kilogram bags of rice from the federal government, as well as 10-kilogram bags of beans as inputs to farmers to 35,000 male heads of houses. News Central's Mark Rawa reports that the governor noted that the distribution of palliatives is not meant to create dependency, but to support the communities so that they can engage in farming and pick up their pieces of their lives. Moving on now, stakeholders in the Niger Delta region, south of Nigeria, have called on President Bola Tinubu to declare a state of emergency on the ongoing east-west road due to its economic benefits to the region and Nigeria in general. The road was awarded 18 years ago to connect several key states in the oil-rich region, but remain uncompleted. In this special report, News Central's correspondent Austin Azu seeks to unravel the delay and the nightmare experienced by motorists and commuters on a daily basis.
The East-West Road, with over 740 kilometers span and more than 40 short bridges, start from Lagos in the west and terminated in Calabar, Cross River State, is a nerve that connects the nation's oil and gas wealth to the rest of the world. The deplorable state of the road in recent times leaves so much to be desired, as it has become an almost death trap to the citizenry. Unfortunately, traveling on the east-west road requires one to be prepared to spend between 2 and 3 days before getting to one's destination, as a result of unavoidable encumbrances in between.
At times, if you go to the DSC roundabout where we normally load Port Harcourt from, the drivers don't even go to Port Harcourt for some days now because the road is cut into two. If you manage to go, when you come back, you end up in the mechanic workshop with your vehicle. So the road is nothing to talk about.
Not just bad, causing damage to vehicles, cause a lot of insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, and all that.
Government should come and fix the road for us so that we can have good road and do our business.
The bitter experience of commuters spending many hours or days in the traffic that spans as long as over 3 kilometers stretch on both lanes of the road saw the ultimate death of travelers in the tanker explosion between Delta Edo boundary in 2023, which could have been avoided.
This is the exact spot when some persons lost their lives due to tanker explosions that claims their lives. Most of them were buried at this particular spot, which is not far away from Koko Junction, here in Delta State. From the entrance into Delta State from Edo State, one could see ongoing construction work on the east-west road.
Same tragic story repeated itself a few months ago when a petrol-laden tanker ran into the houses in Ometa in Okwe local government area of Delta State, killing 8 persons on the spot and razed down houses.
A very, very sad incident. Commiserating with my colleague Rivers, what happened a few days back. This is happening in my state. Very sad, very sad.
The story is same across the region as heavy-duty vehicles conveying goods like house, iron rods, cement and consumables from east to west and vice versa are forced to spend over 2 days at the dangerous spots, likely exposing them to kidnappers, armed robbers, among other criminal elements. The dish causes some long trucks to tumble over, thereby worsening any vehicular movement. The road project, which was conceived in 2006 by the administration of Nigeria's former president Olusegun Obasanjo, remains uncompleted to date, despite huge funds running into billions of dollars claimed to have been spent. At the recently held NDDC Stakeholders Summit in Port Harcourt, Notable speakers want the federal government to expedite action on the completion of the project to unlock the full economic potentials of the Niger Delta communities.
Before now, the East-West Road was under the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Development. I don't know what happened. They took it away. They have returned NDDC from the presidency. Returning the East-West Road to the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta is one bold decision that this government will take. And if you return it there, we will have access to the minister. Situation daily report we get to him. But each time you want to reach Omai, he said that is on the coastal road, it's on the Goja road, it's on the northern road. We appreciate what he's doing. But President Bola Tinubu had no reason to wait further to return the East-West Road to the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Development.
Let the legislators at the national level from South-South meet and lead delegation to Mr. President that to demand for the immediate rehabilitation and completion of the East-West Road.
There are more political undertone as regard the abandonment of the East-West Road. A lot of money has been invested on that project, but of course what you see there is insignificant.
But all attempts to get the controller, Federal Ministry of Works' attention, who oversees the project in Delta State, was unsuccessful, as the Director of Works at the Federal Secretariat in Asaba declined comments. But the Minister of Works, David Umahi, while expecting some ongoing projects, said the federal government's renewed commitment to completing the East-West Road remains sacrosanct, even as he attributed the delay to climate change. He said the government has deployed the use of reinforced concrete technology on the long-delayed project to ensure that segments of the road do not fail again.
But we appeal to the public to please bear with us. This is the effect of climate change. People must know that the priorities of this government is not only road, even though it's first among it was. But the president is doing everything possible, even going outside the budgetary provisions, working with the National Assembly to provide, intervention fund to cater for these roads. And we can't blame the present administration. We can't blame the past administration. This is over 30 years of neglect. And this is also over 30 years of doing the wrong pavement. But Mr. President, who started concrete pavement when he was governor in Lagos State, has directed that some of these troubling sections should be done with concrete.
While the people in the region are hopeful, they believe the federal government should match this words with actions so as to ensure a speedy completion of the key projects. In Delta, for News Central, Austin Azu.
Another break we'll do here on the news. When we return, we'll bring you more stories. Don't go away. On the news, we tell you that a Guinea court will deliver its verdict on Wednesday in the trial of ex-dictator Musa Dadis Camara, accused of orchestrating a 2009 massacre where over 150 people were killed and numerous women were raped. According to a UN-mandated commission of inquiry, at least 156 people were killed, 109 women were raped, and hundreds were wounded in one of the darkest episodes in Guinea's history. Victims who had long-awaited justice doubted a trial would ever occur until it was initiated by a junta that seized power in 2021. Dadis Camara, along with 11 other government and military officials, faces charges of murder, sexual violence, torture, abduction, and kidnapping. He has consistently denied responsibility, attributing the violence to his subordinates. The landmark trial, which began on September 28, 2022, has captivated the nation with courtroom proceedings broadcast on television and radio across Guinea. In another development, Human Rights Watch reported on Monday that Sudan's warring factions have committed widespread sexual violence against women and girls aged 9 to 60 in the capital, Khartoum. Survivors have been prevented from accessing health care. The new report, titled "Khartoum is not safe for women," includes testimonies from 42 healthcare workers and first responders about sexual violence, forced marriage and child marriage since the conflict began between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces in April 2023. The 88-page report also details conditions that could amount to sexual slavery. While the RSF has been primarily identified as using sexual violence systematically, there are also reports of such violence by armed soldiers. HRW noted an increase in cases since the army took control of Omdurman in early 2024. We now go on a short break. We still have more to come your way. Don't go away. From other continents, we tell you that Nicolas Maduro has been declared the winner of Venezuela's presidential election by the opposition, and key regional neighbors immediately rejected the official results. The Electoral Council announced that Maduro won re-election with 51.2% of votes, while opposition candidate Edmundo González Urrutia received 44.2%. Maduro addressed supporters at the presidential palace minutes after the announcement to celebrate the declaration from his loyalist electoral authority. But Venezuela's opposition coalition insisted it had garnered 70% of the vote, rejecting the figures from Maduro's loyalist electoral authority.
Con el 80% de las mesas escrutadas y con un nivel de participación electoral del 59%, los resultados son los siguientes. Primero, Nicolás Maduro Moro, del Gran Polo Patriótico, obtuvo 5.150.092 votos, con un 51.20%. El candidato Edmundo González, de la Mesa de la Unidad, obtuvo 4.445.978 votos, con un 44.2%. Hemos solicitado de inmediato al fiscal general de la República se inicie una investigación sobre las acciones terroristas perpetradas contra nuestro sistema electoral y contra los centros de votación y contra también de funcionarios electorales.
We also tell you that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has convened the Security Cabinet in Tel Aviv following a deadly rocket attack in the Golan Heights. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on Sunday vowed to hit the enemy hard after rocket fire from Lebanon killed 12 young people in the Israeli-annexed Golan Heights and again raised fears that the war in Gaza was spread. Iran warned Israel that any new military adventures in Lebanon could lead to unforeseen circumstances. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned Saturday's rocket fire and called on all parties to exercise maximum restraint. Israel's army called it the deadliest attack on Israeli civilians since the October 7 attack that began the current fighting in Gaza and triggered irregular exchanges of fire across the Lebanese border. Let's now join the business desk for more updates on business.
In business, Ethiopia is set to introduce a floating exchange rate for its currency, the birr, as part of broader economic reforms aimed at addressing chronic dollar shortages and boosting foreign investment. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced the decision, stating that the move is essential to correct foreign exchange distortions and balance of payment deficits. The Horn of Africa nation has grappled with a managed floating exchange rate system that has hindered imports and profit repatriation. By allowing the birr to fluctuate freely, the government hopes to alleviate currency scarcity, stimulate private sector growth, and align import and export prices with market realities. This policy shift comes as Ethiopia seeks to secure over $10 billion in financing from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and World Bank. An IMF meeting to discuss the country's loan request is scheduled for this week. Egypt has secured $340 million in new investments to bolster its oil and gas industry. The Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources signed agreements with Shell and Chevron Energy to increase production in key areas. Shell Energy will invest $222 million to expand operations in the Western Delta region, aiming to produce an additional 150 to 200 million cubic feet of natural gas by the end of the year. The company also reported successful exploration efforts in the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, Chevron Energy and Kufbeck committed $120 million to develop the Gisium and West Long areas in the Gulf of Suez. The partnership plans to drill 9 wells and increase crude oil production to 26,000 barrels per day. Both companies expressed optimism about Egypt's investment climate and their commitment to expanding operations. That's our offering on the business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter.
In sports, the Super Falcons suffered their second straight loss at the Paris 2024 Olympics, falling to world champion Spain. Ofyong Edem on Sunday became the third Nigerian to crash out of the table tennis event at the Paris 2024 Olympics, following a 4-0 defeat to Brazil's Bruna Takahashi in the women's singles round of 64. Edem's exit came on the heels of Quadri Aruna and Olajide Omotayo's losses on Saturday, both of whom were sent packing from the competition. Omotayo had kick-started Nigeria's table tennis exit streak with a 4-1 loss to Iran's Noshad Alamian, despite claiming the first set. Aruna's exit was more dramatic as he wasted a 3-0 lead to suffer a 4-3 defeat at the hands of 19-year-old Romanian Edward Ionescu. Now, Nigeria's D Tigress are set to face Australia's Opals in the Olympics Women's Basketball Tournament Group B opener at the Paris 2024 Olympics on Monday. D Tigress aim to secure their first Olympic win in 20 years, representing African basketball with determination and resilience. Head coach Rina Wakama will rely heavily on star forward Amy Okonkwo, the most valuable player of the FIBA Women's AfroBasket 2023, and the returning Ezinne Kalu, a proven leader and playmaker. Alongside Kalu, Elizabeth Balogun and Promise Amukamara will be key to the team's offensive strategy. Australia, with 5 Olympic medals to their name, will pose a significant challenge to D Tigress, who are looking to give their best effort and make a mark at the Paris Olympics. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, we look at some of our top stories. NNPCL and marketers cite supply issues as fuel scarcity lingers. Guinea court to deliver verdict on 2009 stadium massacre trial on Wednesday. We also told you that Human Rights Watch says sexual violence rampant in war-torn Sudan's capital. You can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number and email on your screen. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can equally watch us live on DSTV channel 422, StarTimes channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekan Onabanjo.